This video features the best brawlers you need to be playing in September 2024 with the new season and the new brawler. Let's see how much the meta has shifted so far. Alright guys, the first brawler we're going to be talking about is going to be Kit. Now the main reason why Kit is so good right now is because there's this combo out there that lets you do over 11,000 damage with him. If you have your super with Kit, try and get up close to an enemy, then complete this combo for maximum damage potential. Use your basic attack, super, basic attack twice, and then super again. But of course in 3v3 it'll be less likely to get into this straight 1v1 fights with an enemy, but this is why Kit shines in duels. Now another reason why Kit is pretty good right now in the meta is because of his cardboard box gadget. Being able to go invisible for the next 3 seconds is a great way to reposition yourself and move around the map in order to surprise the enemy. But not only that, you can use this gadget to charge up your super 100% faster when you are standing still. This is going to be the best way to easily charge up your super by literally doing nothing. But of course Kit is going to be also good when you can latch yourself and attach on top of your teammates. Being able to heal up your teammates when you are attached to them, that is going to be great to help them stay alive so they can continue the pressure. But even with that, you need to take advantage of your new lobbing attack too. You can deal 3200 damage at max level, which is going to be more efficient than using your short range main attack. Alright guys, the next brawler we're going to be talking about is going to be Lily. Now Lily is still going to be a top 10 brawler in the game despite her recent nerfs. Lily can still deal a lot of damage when she gets within range with her super. You can dodge incoming damage when using your super, which is another bonus to help you throw off the enemies. Plus with the help of her trait that helps her charge up her super kinda like Buzz, it helps Lily get her super with less risk. And of course everybody knows why Lily's so irritating in the face is because of her vanish gadget. Like one of the ways you can use this gadget is if you notice there's a lot of damage coming your way. You can just activate your gadget and escape into the shadow realm for the next couple seconds and avoid all the heavy damage. You can also use it to hide inside of a bush and travel to wherever you need to go for the next 3 seconds and use that to get closer to the enemies. It's just funny because there's no way the enemies will be able to know where you went if you change directions after you activate your gadget. And with Lily's spiky star power, that is going to help her deal more damage when you can teleport onto the enemies. With the help of the spiky star power, being able to deal 50% extra damage with your next main attack just makes it more rewarding when you connect with your super. The more you can deal damage with spiky, the faster you will charge your super, and the more backstabs increased damage you can do onto the enemies. It's going to be this vicious snowball effect that can really frustrate the enemies and get you some free kills. Alright guys, the next brawler we're going to be talking about is going to be Meg. Now Meg is a great brawler that can be played literally anywhere. The fact that you can run into the enemy's faces, explode the mech, and still have a chance to stay alive makes Meg extremely strong within the game. There is basically no repercussions for getting your mech destroyed because you can just run away and try to charge it up again. But the reason why Meg is so meta right now is because she's a great counter to tanks. You can use her high DPS from the mech to deal heavy amounts of damage to tanks and then use your swiping super to do even more damage to lower the enemies down quicker. Also combined with her heavy metal star power, she can just explode the mech right in the enemy's faces and deal 2400 damage instantly to help her defeat those aggressive brawlers. Now with the mech being so good, and even though she got her recent damage nerfs, you need to be staying in that mech as long as you can. Now if your mech gets destroyed, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't take long for mech to charge it up again, and even if you die trying to charge it up, you will respawn in the mech anyway, so it's kind of a win-win with Meg. I think the damage nerf that Meg got was great to balance her out in the current meta, and I still believe that she shouldn't really spawn in the mech anymore because it makes her such a brainless brawler to play. Alright guys, the next brawler we're going to be talking about is going to be Frank. Now Frank with his rework just made him completely broken. The fact that Frank's main attack delay now decreases whenever his health gets lower is insane. This has made Frank completely broken because his attack cooldown when he is about to die is basically nothing. This allows him to kill anybody in the game as long as he has the ammo for it. Now something that makes Frank even scarier to face and helps him get down the enemies even faster is running his power grab star power. Having that increased damage by 50% for the next 12 seconds will help Frank defeat the enemies way faster. He can scare enemies away since they don't want to take that additional damage, and this easy pressure Frank can gain. Combining this with his irresistible attraction gadget makes him even better. With this gadget, he can not only double the damage he does with his next main attack, he can also pull the enemies closer to him if they manage to survive. And of course we can't forget about Frank's hypercharge too. Frank will be able to fire his super from all directions in a huge radius, and this helps him with keeping the enemies far away from him first off, but secondly it's hard for the enemies to escape his range once they are within it. Also considering that the hypercharge charge rate isn't extremely difficult to achieve like Miko's, it makes getting it and using it even more game breaking. Alright guys, the next brawler we're going to be talking about is going to be the newest brawler in the game, Mo. What's crazy is that you can use Mo's super to surprise enemies that are hiding behind walls or even over water. Now obviously one of the best things about Mo is his ability to travel under the ground, right? So take advantage of enemies that are low trying to heal up to get an easy kill. Even using your super to gain pressure up the map after surprising the enemy can relieve stress off of your teammates. Now speaking of his super, when you're holding down that auto aim, you're gonna get the increased movement speed, right? Now the increased movement speed you get will come in handy to get closer to the enemies, run away from the enemies, or just get to wherever you need to go, because Mo moves insanely fast when you hold down that auto aim. Now something when you're playing Mo, you need to be running his skipping stone star power. Now if you guys didn't watch my Mo guide, something I talked about there was the inconsistencies with his main attack. It's very particular in the way you need to hit the enemy to deal more damage, which is kind of annoying sometimes, but with an additional skip of the stone splitting thanks to his skipping stone star power, this could help you chip away at the enemies much easier or just deal more consistent damage from the mid range. Alright guys, the next brawler we're going to be talking about is going to be Chester. Now Chester is great in this meta because of the rework he received. The fact that Chester's attack now cycles in 4 sequences and the 4th attack having 4 bells is a passive ability, it makes Chester a better brawler since you don't have to waste a star power for that ability. But of course with the rework to Chester's Bellamania star power as well, it causes the first bell to deal double the damage, which makes Chester even better. Chester can deal even more damage, which can change a lot of interactions where he might be able to kill the enemies now. Now before going into a fight at close range, I'd always recommend to people to have your 3rd bell attack queued up ready to go. This will make it so that your 4 bells attack is next, which should be enough damage to defeat almost all of the brawlers in the game. And especially now with the single Bellamania star power, that shot is going to be your 3rd attack, and even more so, you can easily destroy the enemy. Now the more bells that are being shot out with Chester, the more spread out it's going to be, so you want to be getting close and personal to those enemies. This is something that's critical when playing Chester because you need to hit as many bells as you can. However, he doesn't have a lot of health, so if he does get too close, he could possibly get bursted down before he can burst down that enemy. Alright guys, the next brawler we're going to be talking about is going to be Gale. Now Gale is such a great brawler because he can counter any aggressive brawler in the game. Tanks and assassins are extremely dangerous at close ranges, so if you can use your super so they are not within range of you anymore, then you and your teammates will have the range advantage against them. Also try and use your super onto multiple enemies if you can. You want to always get as much value as possible no matter who you are playing in Brawl Stars, but when you have a super as good as Gale's, it's good to push away more than one person if you can. Now something that helps Gale deal with aggressive brawlers even more so, especially with Mortis being so meta, is this Twister gadget. Since this gadget will only work if the enemies walk into the tornado, then you want to use it as a defense mechanism to prohibit the enemies from pursuing a kill onto you. Also, if you place the gadget in a place where the enemies need to cross in order to get to the objective, it will make them waste time to either wait until the gadget is done or they'll be forced to run around to a different lane. But the whole reason why Gale is in the S tier right now is because of his hypercharged blizzard. When activated, Gale's super is 2 tiles wider and creates 2 gusts of winds and snow, which pushes enemies further away than usual. Can't forget about the stat buffs he gets from the hypercharge, which of course makes him even stronger. Alright guys, the next brawler we're going to be talking about is going to be Mortis. Now Mortis didn't get any balance changes recently, but he did receive his brand new hypercharged blood boomerang. When activated, Mortis's super now returns back to him, dealing a second wave of damage and healing. I mean, come on now, the fact that this super can now return to him and get him more kills and heal more is crazy. This will be amplified to the next level if you can get kills with this creepy harvest star power. Like, Mortis will be unkillable. Now I hate to say this, but I gotta admit it, like, you're gonna be seeing Mortis played literally everywhere now. Now don't get me wrong, Mortis is excellent at performing team whips, especially with his gadget and creepy harvest star power combined. If the enemies are grouped up, you can ambush them, activate his gadget, and chain supers. The healing from his super and creepy harvest ensures that he stays alive. Now what's also great about Mortis' super is you can use it as a 4th attack in tight situations. I would recommend using it when he's low on health and needs to heal quickly, or when the enemy is on low health and you can't reload another attack in time. Try not to use his super as a first attack unless you are very low on health, and try to hit as many enemies as possible in Mortis' super. Alright guys, the next brawler we're going to be talking about is going to be Daryl. Now Daryl received a buff where he can now store 2 supers. This allows Daryl to make insane plays like rolling double the distance to get to where he needs to go, or just have the enemies in a hit stun for longer to drive them crazy. This makes Daryl more versatile and has easily shotted him up from being one of the worst brawlers in the meta to now being one of the most fun to play. Now with Darryl being able to store 2 supers in his back pocket, you gotta be using it to your advantage. What I mean by this is like Darryl's super is great for quickly escaping enemies or dangerous situations or even getting closer to the enemies. It's also good that Darryl's roll is extremely quick and is shielded while rolling. Also can't forget that Darryl has a trait where his super charges automatically, so this will make it even easier for Darryl to cycle his supers. Now it's funny that Darryl is considered a tank. I consider him more to be like a rolling assassin, but he can do a lot of damage for a tank. Darryl firing 10 shells in 2 waves is quite a bit of damage if you can hit the enemies from a point blank range. Even if you can chip the enemies down from a mid range, it is going to be helpful to slowly lower the enemies down, but to also help you charge up your super and just cause chaos. Alright guys, the next brawler we're going to be talking about is going to be Clancy. Now even though Clancy received a couple of nerfs, he's still going to be so broken in this meta. Granted, Clancy in his first stage is absolute torture because he deals no damage, his projectile is so hard to hit, and he moves incredibly slow. But once you get that 3rd stage, man, he can go full beast mode. Now yes, Clancy's new main attack he gets in his 3rd stage is good and all, but it's literally everything else that he gets that makes him so good. What I mean by this is like he gets an increase in his movement speed and he can deal extra damage with his super. This turns Clancy into a killing machine that can deal huge amounts of damage from a point blank range or if he needs to cover a large area of the map. Well, there you guys go, a complete list on the top 10 brawlers in the current meta for September. Let me know what you guys think about the list in the comments down below. Well, anyway guys, if you guys enjoyed that ranking video, I highly recommend you guys go check out this ranking video right here.